Hello, I'm Jenny Boyette, and I'm here with Kathleen Edelman, author of I Said This, You Heard That. And we're talking about some questions, some common questions that we get. So one of the things that when you do the assessment in the book, you usually get a dominant temperament.
Yes.
And a lot of times we talk about a secondary.
Right.
And so I want to go through what that means and how they can come up with those numbers and the differences of all of that.
And that's what the assessment's designed to do is come up with at least a dominant, the one in the book, and we're hoping a secondary.
Okay.
So if you're very dominant in your first temperament, there'll be four, categories. Most likely you'll see very clearly your dominant and your secondary. If you're very heavy, sometimes two other ones may be close, but we can work on that because as you go through the study, it'll be clear what your secondary is, even that.
Okay.
But sometimes the first and your second, the dominant and the secondary can be close together as well.
Okay.
And that's really natural.
Yes.
Like people will come up to me and go, "Oh no, I'm 15 yellow and 15 red. What am I?" You're yellow red.
Okay.
I mean, and again, you just are very even in your temperament scoring. Like that's how God designed you.
Okay.
Is just not to be very heavy in your dominant.
Okay.
I happen to be very heavy in my dominant.
Okay.
So I'm like a 26-13.
Okay.
So it doesn't take long if you're with me.
Yeah.
Right? To
Yes.
figure out that I'm melancholy. But I do have that secondary of green. And you do want to figure that out. When we start getting into 2.0 and 3.0, understanding the secondaries are going to be crucial.
Sure.
Because a blue-green is very different than a blue-red.
Yeah.
But just understanding that.
Let's talk about that for just a moment for our audience to understand if you are a dominant, like myself, yellow with a splash of red,
Right.
versus if you are split evenly, more, 20-20 or 15-15 and then a splash of something else. How could they determine that? Like when they're meeting somebody, what would be some phrases or the difference that they might be able to identify?
Well, again, it's understanding. We're trying to listen to understand. So somebody who's very yellow in their temperament, like you, say you're going to lunch.
Yes.
You're
Okay.
going to say, "Okay, it's time to go to lunch. Who's going to join? The more the merrier.
Okay.
Let's go."
Yes.
You on that day, your red may not even show up because it's just a splash, right? And you want that connectability with people.
Sure.
Where if you were even, yellow, red, the sentence might look more like this. "Oh, it's time to go to lunch. Who's going to come? Everybody in my car, I'm ready to go."
Okay, right.
Do you see the red and the yellow naturally come together even within one sentence?
Gotcha.
Now,
Okay.
we also get the question, "Oh, I'm red at home, but I'm blue at work,"
Right.
or vice versa.
Yes, we do get that.
That's like cutting your arm off and leaving it at work. We're wired together in our temperament consistently all the time.
Okay.
That's why when we're looking at the innate needs, even if you're a splash of red or a splash of green, those innate needs are going to be equally as important.
Okay.
So finding out your dominant and secondary, even if it's heavy in a splash or even, it's really important to just embrace both of them.
Okay. So like you said, if you're red, you feel like you're more red at work and blue at home. You had said before that that's maybe some of the requirements at work might bring out more of the red of you, but that doesn't mean you're not blue at work. You still are combined.
And as you master your temperament, you might find some strengths in your blue that you can even start incorporating at work.
Okay.
Right? That maybe you haven't been exercising that muscle. Right?
Right.
And it's really mastering your temperament and really functioning in your strengths all the time.
Okay.
To the best of your ability, right?
That's great and so helpful.
Yes,
Yes,
hopefully.
thank you. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.